Hopefully y'all were okay with that. But okay, thanks for letting me know, Eleanor. Yeah, I imagine with the weather system we're going to get the next couple days, we're going to have a lot of Wi-Fi connection issues. Hopefully, won't be too bad. Now it takes a little while to kind of get used to radians and how to move around the unit circle. So, I kind of shared with you all how I think about it, based, my experience. So for this first problem, I just figured out, well, how much more after the nearest integer of pi? So after 5 pi, we're going to go another 5 pi over 2, which is basically 90 degrees. Rotating positively, we'll wind up here where the odd pi's are. We go another pi over 2, so that's the location. The sign is the y value, so right there, -1. Here, that's an even pi, so you're going to go around the circle and then you land here. Okay, tangent's y divided by x. Well, 0 divided by 1, tangent. Notice that's the same as the slope of a horizontal line, 0. Remember, the tangent is the slope. You can think of it that way too. Same thing as 21. And so here we are. The cosecant's the reciprocal of the sine, so the reciprocal of -1. Now, I wrote it that way just so that I could say the reciprocal, but that equals -1. Okay, so now we're doing negative rotation, so that's drawing the little line. And this is 3 pi over 2s, so that's 3 90-degree sections, so we're right here. The cosine's the x at that coordinate, which is 0. Again, negative rotation, pi is half the circle. So at this location, the x would be -1, the secant's reciprocal of cosine, reciprocal of -1. Remember, the x is cosine, y is sine on the unit circle. And that means the radius is 1. Okay, so then here, these two come from the 45 and 60-degree triangles, right? And so boom. And 90 degrees, well, that's the location on the unit circle. The sine is the y. The tangent of 45 is going to be 1. Again, okay, and then it's just the same thing, just knowing these exact values for the 30, 60, 90 triangles. And over here, I just drew this picture for the 60. So in case, you're not quite sure why I'm doing the tangent √3/2. So when you divide the horizontal, the vertical by the horizontal, the sine divided, the y divided by the x, dividing by fraction, you multiply the reciprocal. Okay, and then again, replacing these. The tangent of 180, again, 180 means over here. So 0 over -1. And then same thing here. And again, I drew the triangle over here, the tangent of pi over 6. So then it's the 1/2 divided by the √3/2. And so one thing that I've always done with tangents is if the vertical is √3/2, that means you're going to cross cancel the 2's and get √3. Whereas if the horizontal is √3/2, that means you're going to cross cancel the 2's and get 1 over √3. So if you catch that, you can train your brain to do this a lot quicker. All right, and again, the same thing here. And so pi over 2, remember that's the top location. So reciprocal of tangent would be x over y, right? So that's why that's 0, 0 over 1. Okay, and starting at 47 and onward, you had to kind of use the unit circle a little bit and determine which triangle you're dealing with. Once you know which triangle you're dealing with, you can get all the sine, cosine, tangents, and then the reciprocals. And then once you know which quadrant you're in, you can do the all students take calculus. So here, second quadrant, only the signs are positive, so I put negatives on everything else. Same thing with this one. That's a 30-degree triangle in the third quadrant. So I got all the sine and cosine values from the 30-degree triangle. And then the reciprocals, all students take calculus. T, only the tangents are positive, so that's why I put negatives on everything else. Okay, so 3 power over 4, that's a power over 4 triangle, and it's in the second quadrant. All students, only the signs are positive, so these are positive, the others are negative. And again, after a while, you kind of just remember which triangle you're dealing with, but it's a good idea to write this down when you're learning this for the first time. That way you're training your mind to remember. That's what writing does for us. You make that connection between your hand and what you're visualizing in your head. And that's how people draw. They draw what they see. All right, and the same thing here, and I rearranged this. So how much more after the first integer pi? So 2 pi and then another 2 pi over 3. So that means we wind up here in the second quadrant. Pi over 3 circle, which is a 6-degree triangle, pi over 3 triangle. So calculating the ratios, all students take calculus. So the S, only the signs and the reciprocals are positive. Okay, and then this one, after you subtract 360, you got 45 degrees left, so you're going to be in the first quadrant. This is a 45-degree isosceles triangle. So all of these are positive since they're in the first quadrant, and then you just get the ratios knowing which triangle you're using. And then here's is a negative direction, so we're rotating into the fourth quadrant. It's a power of a 6 triangle. And so, and then all students take calculus. The C means cosine, so only the cosines are positive. Negative rotation. So this is going to rotate into the third quadrant. This is going to be a 45-degree triangle. All students take calculus, so T, only the tangents and cotangents are positive. Okay, so again, I rearranged this to get to the nearest integer pi, which is 2 pi. And then we got another pi over 2. So positive rotation, you land here, another pi over 2. We can use the coordinates. And again, remember, the only time you get an undefined value is if you divide by 0. And that's only going to happen if you're in one of the 90-degree locations, the pi over 2 radian locations. Okay. So the reciprocal of 0 is undefined, because you can write this as 0 over 1. 1 over 0 would be the reciprocal. Okay, so this was a doozy, but anyway, I rearranged to the nearest multiple of pi. So we're going negative pi over 4, and then another 2 pi over 3 in the negative direction. So we go around and we wind up here, and then we go another 2 pi over 3, so we're in the third quadrant. We're dealing with a pi over 3 60-degree triangle. So then we get our ratios, and then all students take. So T, only the tangents, reciprocal cotangents are positive. Okay, so you'll have some more of these for the homework today.